Hi everyone, in this video we'll be running through the second idea of making the subject formula, which is the idea of a friend and also the idea of wanting to be alone, right? These two ideas we went through using this question here, right? So we begin with a definition of a friend, right? It's actually a very intuitive thing and it also has a very loose definition. But let's look at the question first. Express x in terms of h, g, and f, and sometimes question will write in this manner. They put a bracket of x, so you must make x equals to something. Right, so the end goal is already there, where this x is lone. One funny way to talk about it is that you are x. So this is actually you. And the story goes, as cringe as it may be, is that you want to be alone. So you want to be alone on the left-hand side. And when we look at this equation, we can divide in two parts. Of course, your left-hand side over here and your right-hand side. And if you think about it, in an argument, your friends will be on the same side of the argument supporting you, right? And those that are not supporting you or on the other side, we say that are not friends. So everything on the left-hand side are your friends, because we use the analogy of an argument, and those on the other side of you are not your friends anymore. Right? So there's the first idea, which is your friends and not your friends. So how to be alone? Well, you need to understand you have to kick your friends away. Kick friends away. And you start by the furthest friends first. Furthest friends first. So let's get started. So who's your furthest friend here? Well, if you look at this, these are a group of friends. So there's only one that is the furthest, is actually the h over here. So you have to kick the h away first, which means that the h has to go to the other side and become a not friend. So you're left with cube root 5x squared minus 10 equals to 2g minus f. If you send the negative h to the other side, it becomes a plus h. So what's the next friend you want to kick away? Well, it's actually your cube root. That's your next furthest friend, because you can think of it as your 5x squared and your 10 being a group of friends. There's a sort of an invisible bracket here. So we have to send the cube root over to the other side. And how do you do it? We cube both sides, like so. Cube both sides. And if you cube a cube root, right, you remove the cube root, becomes 5x squared minus 10. And the left and the right hand side, the ones that are not your friends, remain as such. So over here, a reminder that this is you. So who's your next furthest friend? It is actually your minus 10. So same thing, you send the minus 10 over to the other side, and you have two friends, 5 and squared. And you send it over to the other side, it becomes a plus 10. Same thing like what we did for the first movement. Now, you have two sets of two friends here, right? So when you look at 5x squared, you're looking at 5 times x squared. So you can see over here 5x squared, this is actually further as compared to the square here, right? So you can send your 5 away. So you look at the relationship here, it says it's a multiplication, the relationship. So when you send it over to the side, it becomes a division. So you left your last friend, which is a square, and this whole chunk you will divide by 5. And now you have one last friend left. And how do you get rid of that friend? Square? Well, of course, you square root. And when you square root both sides, it's required that you add a plus or a minus as such. So you square root the square, you get x, and your final answer is just plus or minus square root, and the whole chunk repeats itself because you've not done anything to it over here. Right? That's how you make x a subject. Now x is alone, and there's no x on the right hand side. Yes, something for you to take note of, and that's your final answer. You've made x a subject of g, f, and h. Right? That's it. Thank you.